Let's face it, Americans don't really have the best reputation globally, whether it's meddling in international affairs or American tourists going to other countries and acting like they own the place. I'm not saying other countries don't have their issues. Still, American issues tend to bubble up to the top of the newsfeed. Today we look at the 10 countries where Americans are banned for 2024, whether by the people, the government, or both. Let's take a look. Number 10, Venezuela. Rounding out our list is Venezuela, a South American nation famed for its striking natural beauty. Venezuela has unfortunately been in the throes of a political and economic crisis for the past several years. With the ongoing crisis, the U.S. Department of State advises against all travel to Venezuela due to crime, civil unrest, poor health infrastructure, kidnapping, and arbitrary arrest and detention of U.S. citizens. Number 9, Libya. Like Syria, Libya is another country where ongoing conflict makes it a no-go zone for American tourists. The U.S. Department of State strongly warns against all travel to Libya due to crime, terrorism, kidnapping, and armed conflict. With the 2011 Libyan civil war and the murder of the U.S. ambassador during the Benghazi attack, Libya-U.S. relations have been greatly strained. Number 8, Syria. A war-torn country is a high-risk area that the U.S. Department of State advises against traveling to due to terrorism, civil unrest, kidnapping, and armed conflict. The Syrian civil war, which began in 2011, has severely strained Syria-U.S. relations. Ongoing conflict has led to extensive damage and destruction. The dire situation has resulted in a humanitarian crisis, and the safety and security conditions are extremely volatile. Therefore, travel to Syria is currently strongly discouraged for safety reasons. Number 7, Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan, the Central Asian nation known for its eccentric former president and the flaming door-to-hell crater, is next on our list. This land of vast deserts, ancient ruins, and striking modern architecture is undoubtedly one of the most challenging countries for Americans to visit due to its strict visa policies and the government's general wariness of foreign visitors. U.S. diplomatic relations with Turkmenistan are limited, with human rights and democracy issues being major sticking points. Despite these challenges, Turkmenistan offers unique attractions for the intrepid traveler. Number 6, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia used to be a tough nut to crack for American tourists due to its restrictive visa policies. The country, governed under strict Islamic law, had traditionally limited visas to business travelers, Hajj pilgrims, and family members of residents. However, in 2019, Saudi launched a new tourist visa to attract foreign visitors as part of its Vision 2030 program aimed at diversifying its economy beyond oil. While exploring, remember that some sites may be off-limits to non-Muslims, and always follow local guidance on respectful behavior. Number 5, Eritrea. On the Horn of Africa, we find Eritrea, often dubbed the North Korea of Africa due to its reclusive policies and autocratic governance. The U.S. and Eritrea have a strained relationship due to various issues, including Eritrea's human rights record and detention of U.S. Embassy local employees. Obtaining a tourist visa for Eritrea is notoriously difficult, with approval often arbitrary even with all required documents. Number 4, Cuba. Although relations between the U.S. and Cuba have softened slightly over the years, travel restrictions persist as a relic of the Cold War. The U.S. embargo against Cuba, known as El Bloqueo locally, prevents American tourists from visiting purely for tourism. Number 3, Bhutan. The difficulty in traveling here is not politically motivated, but rather a consequence of their unique tourism policy. To protect their environment and culture, Bhutan only permits a limited number of tourists each year, with Americans required to pay a daily fee of $200 to $250. This policy, called High Value, Low Impact, is an innovative effort to promote sustainable tourism. Number 2, Iran. A country brimming with historical sites and warm hospitality, but fraught with diplomatic hurdles for Americans. The 1979 Iranian Revolution led to strained relationships between the two nations, with the U.S. imposing heavy sanctions on Iran over nuclear disputes. Traveling to Iran isn't impossible, but you'll need to book a guided tour. Independent travel in Iran isn't allowed for U.S. citizens. All travel must be part of an organized tour led by a government-approved guide. Number 1, North Korea. At the top of the list, we have North Korea. Its isolationist stance, resulting from a political doctrine called Juke, along with ongoing tensions with the U.S., has largely contributed to travel restrictions. Now, North Korea is among the countries Americans can't easily travel to. Thanks for watching the video. Post your thoughts on the top 10 countries where Americans are banned for 2024 in the comments below. I'd love to read them. If you find the video informative and engaging, then don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel.